There's obviously a huge conversation at the moment around TikTok, because TikTok was started in China. It's become this massive sort of global success. And I can't think of a better company to have started than a platform like TikTok, where everybody's putting their information and data in and it's tracking your location. So what is your perspective on something like TikTok? Do you think was started as a tool to spy?
I don't believe TikTok individually was started as a tool to spy. I believe that what happened is TikTok became wildly popular, and the government in China realized, hey, everything in China belongs to the government anyways. We can step in and take advantage of this. That is also a way that CIA and MI6 do business as well. When a company does very well and there's an intelligence benefit, they will approach the company. In a democracy, they can't force the company to cooperate, but in a country like China, they can.
So do you think the social networks, a lot of the big social networks, have been approached by the CIA or the MI6 and asked to give information to them?
I would go a step further and say that they've all been approached and that the vast majority of them cooperate.
Is that a concern for the average person?
Not for the for the average person, that's a benefit.
The average person is not being targeted. I promise you. Like, there's zero interest for the federal government and for the intelligence community. There's absolutely zero interest in the average person.
The person who's cheating on their spouse or avoiding $5,000 in taxes or who isn't paying their parking bills. Nobody cares. The federal government doesn't care about that.
Well, you were doing some of that targeting, right?
Right.
So did you ever work with any existing company to give you information?
So all of my data, depending on what country I was working on, had different sources. And some countries had more sources than others, but they're all sources I can't disclose. But there's tons and tons of data that would come into me. And then I worked on a number of cases where I had to get FISA requests.
What's a FISA request?
FISA request is when you want to collect information or take information from somebody who is an American citizen. And I just want to remind people that American citizen, most people who complain about, oh, they're targeting American citizens, are thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking, oh, they're targeting American citizens. They're not thinking about the Chinese person who just came over and naturalized. They're not thinking about the Iranian who's been here for a long time and naturalized, right? Like all of those, they're not thinking about, the
Al-Qaeda member who claimed to be a refugee to get here to get some sort of green card.
Right. So American citizenship, a lot of people have that. And some of those people are doing bad things. And some of those people are our adversaries who have infiltrated the United States and are here to gather intelligence to give to our adversaries, or are here to do bad things within the country. And so we have to get FISA requests to get the data on them.
And what does that mean in reality, a FISA request? Does that mean that you can go into their phone?
It means that you have proven a link from that person to something bad, and you've given the court enough evidence to say, hey, look, this person's doing something bad, and we need to gather more data on them. So it just opens the kind of data that you can get on that person.
And what kind of data is that?
You can get on their phone. You can get into their computer. You can get into their private Google accounts. You can get into their private Apple accounts.
Any kind of data you can get access to. You can now use it to target them.
So you could get access to their private Google accounts, their private Apple accounts without their passwords?
You would hack their passwords or steal their passwords, or Google retains their passwords.
And Google would give you the password?
For most cases, if it comes down to national security, American companies will share details. And that's what a FISA request does, is it's a judicial claim. It's a judicial warrant, essentially, to say you will let this service onto that person's account.
Mm-hmm. You guys must think that people like me live in a certain state of naivety and ignorance as to what's actually going on.
I wouldn't say it's ignorance or naivety. I would say that it's conditioned into you. You're conditioned to believe that you have privacy.
So the reality that we should realize is that we don't have privacy.
It's not real.
Privacy's not real.
No. I mean, there's a level. Like
when you get undressed in a dark room, like that's yours.
Usually, no one's watching.
There's a good chance that you're not being watched by the federal government. Yeah. If you're getting,
that's a good chance.
If you're sending, dirty emails to your girlfriend, that's essentially, it's private on the surface.
Yeah.
but not really forever private. Somebody could access those. If you write her dirty notes, that's way more private.
Especially if she throws them away or burns them.
Or burns them. Like I think people put too much confidence in technology and feel too confident in the privacy of technology, because technology, there's really nothing private about it. To an extent, yes. But if you think that nobody can ever look at your stuff, that's wrong.
Do you think the CIA knew you were coming here today?
I think the CIA knew we were coming on Diary of a CEO, and I think they knew that we were going to talk to you about our book.
How do you think they knew that?
Because we know that CIA, as well as other intelligence services, as an example, the United Arab Emirates, we know that they have a dedicated person that sits in their office that watches us.
So how would they know you were coming here today?
Our emails, our emails, our publishers' emails, our own text messages back and forth, listening in on phone calls, any number of things could have happened. We've tried to have a very collaborative relationship with CIA about this book.
CIA believes that all people are born with a spy secret superpower. For some people, that means they can win deals. For others, they can spot liars. Some can even seduce lovers. I built a free 3-minute test to help reveal to you exactly what your secret hidden superpower is. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below, take the test, and start using your spy superpower to stay ahead of 99% of people.
Because we know how scared they are. We know how nervous this book makes them. So we're trying to be extra collaborative to give them peace of mind, like, hey, we're not about to go out there and tell the world that you're a bunch of animals and terrible anything. They've actually read the book multiple times, and still they're afraid that we're going to somehow make them look bad, because so many of their officers have come out to become authors who make CIA look bad.
There was a couple of other things that, we are going to get back to the arcade and what happened next, but there's a couple of other things that sprung to mind when you talked about how people can make real businesses, fake businesses, have various different covers. The next one was, you mentioned Edward Snowden earlier. And in mentioning Edward Snowden, you used him as an example of someone who returns to the country that they were working for the whole time.
So with Snowden, in the Snowden case in specific, right? Whenever somebody flees their own home country, nobody gives them protection for free. Even in the United States, we don't give anybody protection for free. You have to earn it. You have to share some sort of currency. And that currency may not be cash dollars. That currency might be information. So when Snowden leaked to The Guardian the operations at NSA that were collecting against American citizens, the same American citizens that Jihi was just talking about, right? Nobody cares about Joe Bob. Everybody cares about, the person who's pretending to be an American citizen but is in fact a terrorist threat. When Snowden made his escape, when he fled the United States, he was essentially trading classified information, not just the details of the NSA case that he whistleblew, but other confidential information that he collected specifically as currency to help him basically pay his way through Hong Kong and into China, or into Russia.
And so he lives in Russia now.
He's a Russian citizen. I'm pretty sure he's also received a Russian award for heroism.
And you think he gave secrets to Russia about the United States to get that?
I can almost guarantee you, yeah. What he gave, I don't know. But Russia wouldn't give him that status unless he had given them something in return.